Lloyd George declared, "The land enters into everything. The food the people eat, the water they drink, the houses they dwell in, the industries upon which their livelihood depends. Yet most of the land is in the hands of the few." But today, hardly any politicians even mention land in their speeches, let alone lift a finger to do anything about it. Talking about land ownership has been taboo for far too long. Raise it in public debate, and sooner or later you're accused of the politics of envy. But it's not a sign of envy to ask questions about how we might best use and share out our most scarce common resource. It should just be common sense. Questioning why the Duke of Westminster, for example, has come to own so much land isn't meant as an attack on him as a person. As Churchill said of land monopolists, "It is not the individual I attack, it is the system." I first got interested in land because of the fact we're destroying the living world around us. Landowners like to portray themselves as wise stewards of the earth, but all too many of them abuse their property for short-term profit, despoiling habitats and wiping out wildlife in exchange for such things as coal mines, quarries and new roads. Later, after moving to London and paying stupid amounts of rent to landlords for a roof over my head, I started to see how land isn't simply a rural issue out there in the countryside, but one that underpins how we all live. Homes have become assets rather than places to live. Something's gone badly wrong when a country tolerates thousands sleeping rough on our streets every night, at the same time as allowing thousands of homes to lie empty. Who owned those empty properties, I wondered? Who owned the vast tracts of countryside from which our birds and insects had been carelessly eliminated? I wanted to find out. When I started investigating who owns England, however, I was astonished by how difficult it was to answer such a simple question. The pervasive secrecy around land ownership made me suspicious. What was there to hide? Why were large landowners so coy about revealing what they owned, and public authorities so reluctant to make the information available? As I dug into the issue, I decided to start a blog to share what I found, whoownsengland.org. The response was overwhelming. Almost immediately, I was inundated with offers of help, from people offering snippets of information about landowners near where they lived, to data experts offering hours of their spare time to help crunch the numbers. Indeed, this book was only made possible thanks to a growing movement of data journalists, coders and campaigners determined to set information free and put land back onto the political agenda. I would like to pay tribute to all of them. In particular, early on I started collaborating with the computer programmer and data journalist Anna Powell-Smith, who became the technical lead on whoownsengland.org. She's helped unlock the complex land registry datasets needed to investigate ownership, built many of the maps on the site, and advised extensively throughout. I'm extremely grateful to Anna for the coding wizardry and deep knowledge of data that she's brought to the project. This book is about who owns England, how they got it, and what that means for the rest of us. It's part detective story, part history book, and part trespass through England's green and pleasant land. The book's subject, as its title states, is England, rather than Britain or the UK as a whole. Sometimes, in order to tell the story of England's landholding elite, I've strayed into the other nations that make up the UK, for example, to touch upon the huge Highland estates that many English lords have acquired over the centuries. At times, the nature of the available information has also made it hard to disaggregate figures on land ownership by nation. The land registry, for instance, covers both England and Wales, and the data it provides remains frustratingly opaque. Whenever possible, however, I've broken down the statistics by country to concentrate on England alone, or else sought to make clear where the numbers refer to other nations too. But my focus is on England, for 3 reasons. First, the question of who owns Scotland has already been comprehensively answered by the Scottish land reformer and MSP Andy Whiteman, whose books on the subject and maps at whoownscotland.org.uk I thoroughly recommend. Kevin Cahill's Who Owns Britain, published in 2001, was another pioneering work that took a broader view.